Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I have another review for you. This is from Aftershock Comics, My Date with Monsters, #1. It is written by Paul Tobin, art by Andy MacDonald. We got colors by DJ Chavis and letters by Taylor Esposito. Um, so, um, Before I get into the review, at the end of this review, I'll show you some of the art since I'm reading it digitally. I've been doing that lately in all my reviews, but let's get into it. So this book follows Misa Himura and her daughter Micha. And basically the book starts out and Misa is about to go on a date. She is setting up her daughter, who is 12, at home with a babysitter. And basically she is going out on a blind date. We catch up with Misa at the restaurant where she's meeting her date, David, and the date is not going so well. He is kind of like all on himself and this and that. But as the date goes, she gets a phone call to meet someone in the bathroom, and she gets excitedly happy. She does go to the bathroom, and we meet another main character in the story, and that's Croc or Croc. But he is a big troll, like ogre-looking individual. He is a friend, but because she goes to the bathroom and he starts asking her about the date and explaining that the date and love is achieving love is very important, and it's a matter of like very much importance. At this point, we get like the main gist of what's going on. Basically, in this world, Misa is a scientist that was able to. She was working on some kind of dream technology, and she was trying to like kind of control dreams in a certain way, and somehow the government and the Yakuza got involved with this, and they turned it where they like were trying to weaponize dreams. During the process, Misa, her husband, her daughter were doing the experiments, and something went wrong, and it basically opened up a breach where nightmares like different demons and ghouls came into our world. But they basically come through with nightmares, like because of this technology and drug that they invented, like it opened up a breach into another dimension or something, and now anytime someone has nightmares, demons can possibly come over to our world. That's why Croc's there. Croc is his real name is like Henselay or something like that, but he is a devourer of demons. He is basically the guardian between the bridges between worlds or something like that, and that's why he is with Misa. And we find out later on that that Misa's daughter is basically a focal point for these nightmares. That since she was there when her father died during the experiment and watching him die in front of her eyes, she has created this focal point that is ever present, and it's like a constant gateway for these nightmares to come through. So the whole point of the book is really they're trying to get her mom to fall in love, so she creates this like happy situation so her daughter doesn't have nightmares anymore. We do kind of pan over it to the government's part of this book, and we do find out that the government has, that all this is known and it's established in the world that, if you start having nightmares, that there are like nightmare alarms in school and all kind of stuff around the world, because this has been going, I think, for like 4 or 5 years since the book has started out, where they're dealing with any time that somebody has a nightmare, they could have these demons that come through. Now on the other end, there is this drug called Blanket that she also created that like it grants, if you're taking them, it guarantees that you have good dreams kind of thing. So the whole world is supposed to be taking this Blanket drug. So they always dream good. It's even embedded in, the government started like adding it to our food and stuff like that to make sure everybody was having good dreams and not nightmares. Eventually the story does break over to the government's involvement in the story, and they're basically like, they know that there's these focal points, and they're trying to close all these focal points so the nightmares can't come through. They mentioned some other people that have gone through that were focal points, and what they had to do to get rid of their constant nightmares that were these focal points that led the demons over here. Like one guy, they just made him rich and he stopped having nightmares. Another lady, they gave her like a whole apartment building so she didn't have to deal with neighbors or something like that. And the way the government says is that fixed that problem. They were no longer focal points for these nightmares to come over into our world. The main focal point that they have left is Misa's daughter, Micha, and and that's basically where the government's plan right now is trying to close that focal point with Misa's daughter. Hence, they're trying to get her to fall in love. They even go into the toe where like the government has created this program trying to get dateable candidates for her to send to her to try and fall in love. They have this like whole it's set up like a military program where they go into training, they watch porn, they take sensitivity classes, they learn about animals, all this in hopes that they will find the right guy for this Misa lady. They kind of go through and like they do talk about some other things like Croc, like he has to eat and he's always hungry, but he is constantly there watching over Misa and Misu, protecting them from the nightmares. And they showed several different scenes where these nightmares come through, and basically Croc just like eats them all. He's like, ha, stupid, he just eats them. At the very end of the book, they do show like Misa's daughter going to school, and of course, like most of the world knows about her mom's involvement in the experiment and stuff like that, and some don't. But at the school, it seems like most everybody does because they look at Misu very differently. You could tell that there's some bullying or something going on, and it has to be contributed to that whole experiment thing, and that she's a focal point. So, like, at the very end of the comic, it does set up where like one of the kids was fibbing, and he wasn't taking that blanket drug like he was supposed to, and he ends up falling asleep during the class. And one of those nightmares come through. It looks like a Shinigami almost. It's pretty dope. But the Shinigami enters into the classroom and starts cutting up and killing the kids and devouring them. And Misu, she does run over to the a monster alarm and cranks the alarm and then calls Croak on her phone to come to the school and save her. But the very end of the issue, like it just shows her hiding, and this the Shinigami, this demon, is looking around the classroom, and they keep stating the same thing, like hello children, hello, and as it's eating and tearing limbs from limbs. But that's where this issue leaves us off as. Hopefully the Croc or somebody comes to rescue Misa before. There is another thing in the book that stated that either Misa or Misu cannot die, because if they do, the focal point will be forever there, and nightmares will constantly be coming through to our world. They do show another scene where they have like a government a group that actually goes out and kills these nightmares, because they do show us Kronk, and Kronk takes care of these nightmares easily. Now the government kind of thing that they got going, they do show them go up against one nightmare, and Kronk easily deals with I think it's like 10 or 12, and he gets rid of them easily. But it shows like a group of like 30 like SWAT team looking guys go after this nightmare, and they all get taken out except for this one guy. So it kind of like elaborates how dangerous these nightmares are. But it also goes into the that these focal points, because that was my thinking when I was reading the book. Well, just kill the girl. I know that sounds horrible, but no. But the book does state that you can't just kill that person. That they need to. They literally have to grant them good dreams for them to stop dreaming these nightmares. For these nightmares to stop coming over to our world. But that's where the book does leave us off. That's everything that sets it up. It was a really good issue. I really love this issue. It's probably one of my top reads of the week. I still have a couple more books to read from last week's list, but as far as everything I've read so far, this was excellent. I thought it was going to be hokey as I was getting into it and they were explaining it, but nope, they had answers for every little thing I could think of, so it was really nice. I'll show you some of the artwork. The artwork was amazing. It really complimented the book because the story was great, but artwork, it does play with that, with the whole, but the artwork was so stellar. They didn't, it doesn't shy on the gore, and that's Kronk right here. They do show some scenes like here with one of the nightmares attacking the mom and Kronk just coming in and eating it. Like this scene right here, they do show like where her daughter was dreaming and Kronk comes in and eats all the different people or the different nightmares. I can go over here and show you the... This is basically that SWAT team that goes in there trying to take out the one nightmare that's there, and he is the one guy that ends up making it out of the 30 guy group that goes in there. And I will show you, this is the Shinigami or the demon that comes out at the end right here. and that is literally her tearing through all the kids. Hey, but that's my review. I highly suggest checking this one out. It was a very good read. The art was stellar. And I will see y'all guys later. Bye!